Hello, welcome back to GB World, and I'm Gokul, and I'm so excited about today's video because this is going to be something very unique from my usual video. I'm going to do a comparison between Indian English and American, Australian, British English. So if you haven't watched this channel, please subscribe and click the bell icon. I do videos, I make videos on travel and also learning English. So there's an amazing YouTuber, her channel name is English with Lucy, so recently she made a video comparing British English with American and Australian English. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take her video and I'm going to compare Indian English with the British, Australian and American English. So let's see and figure out what Indians speak and what is Indian English and how Indian English is different from other and what are the similarities we have with others. Just to give a quick fact, India is the second country with the largest English-speaking population, and also English is the official language of India. And looking into the past, that India was under the British rule for a considerable period of time, so we do follow British English in our curriculum in schools and colleges even now. And also we cannot deny the fact that American English is of huge popularity, not just in the Indian community but throughout the world through Hollywood. So let's see what are the similarities that we have with other English speaking countries. So we're gonna start the video now. Yeah.
So I have got some pictures and Vanessa, Emma and I are going to tell you how we would say what's in these pictures in our own country. Okay, so let's start with this one.
In the US, these are chips, 100% just chips.
I can't believe you started with this one. These are chips.
We call these crisps. Crisps.
That's interesting. So in India, this is called as chips. So anything that is like sliced and fried over, it's basically chips. We call that chips, not crisps at all. Yeah. The next one.
We call these chips. So in the US, the cold version is chips, and in the UK, the hot version is chips. Let's see what Vanessa has to say about this. What does she call them?
These are French fries. I know that they're not really French, but we still call them French fries, or you can just say fries by themselves.
The next one's chips as well, right? They're hot chips.
So in this we have to agree with American English because we call it as French fries too. In India, maybe because we have a lot of American fast food chains like the KFCs and McDonald's, so it's called French fries in India. Let's move on to the next one.
Next we have this one.
We call these cookies or chocolate chip cookies specifically.
Okay, they are biscuits. Don't really hear people saying cookie.
Yes, 2 against 1. These for us are biscuits as well. And we would use cookie to refer to an American style, normally chocolate chip.
So in India, we kind of use both. Biscuits are usually a general term that we use, but cookies are basically a homely one which is baked in our homes with those chocolate sprinkled over its top. That is what a cookie is in India. But generally, apart from that, all the other biscuits are called biscuits in general. Let's check out the next one.
Here is the picture. Vanessa seems to think that she knows the absolute correct answer. And she's even done research. I did not expect Emma and Vanessa to get books out for this video.
I have the proof that my answer is the most correct because you can see my 2-year-old son is obsessed with trucks. We have so many truck books. Let me read to you. What truck do you need? A tractor trailer. So this is also what I would call it, a tractor trailer. I might call it a semi.
All right, that yellow thing is a truck.
So Vanessa thinks it's a tractor trailer and she's very, very sure about it.
In all of these books, they call it a tractor trailer. So we're gonna go with that one.
That really tickled me. Emma thinks it's a truck. In the UK, we would call this a lorry. A lorry.
It's a truck.
Okay, So this sounds interesting. So I think we basically in India use all three of them, but in different proportion. I don't know if you guys remember, we had what is called as lorry. Especially the older generation used to say lorry for the big one, the big like an elephant kind of a vehicle with the yellow body in front and the red at the back, which is no more under production now, I guess. So that was typically called as lorry. So the older generation always said it as a lorry, but it's no more on the road. So now we have the new kind of vehicles like the Mercedes-Benz, and so we call them trucks basically. So now trucks are common in India. Trucks, everywhere you go on the road you find trucks. And trailers, we say that very not so frequent. Like those are trailers, those are like the long ones like 16 tires, and also which is used to load and unload goods from ships, like the huge containers. So that's called trailers, and they only go through highways. They never enter small roads. So yes, let's move to the next one.
Have the women got up here?
These girls all have bangs.
We would definitely say fringe. Bangs is probably becoming more popular, especially colloquially.
So in the UK, we definitely call this a fringe. And when I started hearing the word bangs in movies and things like that, I was really genuinely confused.
So this one I had to take the help of my sister. So I asked her, what is it called, like the front portion of your hair? And immediately her response was that it's called fringe. Then I asked her, is there anything else that you would say? Any other way you call it? Then later she said bangs. So I have to agree with both, but you know, bangs is getting very popular in India as well, but usually it's said fringe in India. So the next word is...
Okay, what about this next one?
This is candy.
They are lollies. Lollies.
Lollies! That is so cute. So in British English, these are sweets.
Okay, so this one is interesting. In India, everything that is like, for example, like a Kit Kat or a Ferrero Rocher or any other pastries like the savors, like the pastries, the sweets, it's called the sweets. In generally, it's called sweets. But we don't call lollies, but we call it as a lollipop if the sweet is on a stick. So that's how in India it's called. Candies is, I mean, like, people know candy, but it's not at all popular. It's basically the colorful small sweets that you get is candies, but people don't use it often, like they don't use it at all. So sweets, generally we call it sweets, and if it's on a stick we call it as a lollipop. So we'll move to the next one.
This is a swimsuit. Some people might call it a bathing suit. You can also call this a one piece.
Okay, this one's really funny. In Melbourne, where I'm from, it's really common to call them togs. But no one else in Australia really calls them togs. They call it swimmers. In Sydney, they call them cozies or costumes. But generally, it's swimmers or bathers. Oh gosh, there's another one. Bathers or swimmers.
Oh my word, I did not expect to receive so many different ways of saying swimming costume. This for us is a swimming costume.
Okay, so here I think the popular one in India is swimsuit or the bathing suit or one piece. I mean, like, it's more like an American English that's used in Indian English as well. So I agree with swimsuit, but the rest, no, we don't say that in India. Let's move to the next one.
This is the forest.
That is definitely a forest.
No, it's the woods. Woods, plural. This is definitely the woods.
Okay, Here in India, we call it as forest. So we have like the forest departments, we have forest conservation projects and so on. Wood is basically, we are aware about it, but we use it, it's more classical. I think we use it in novels and stories, like Little Red Riding Hood was walking alone in the woods. You know, it's more like a classical kind of a thing. But we usually use forest in India. Let's move to the next one.
This is a bathroom. You might say it's a restroom, but it would be really unusual to call a place that actually has a bathtub a restroom. Usually we use the term restroom for public places.
That room is a bathroom? Yeah, it's a bathroom.
Okay, so Vanessa touched on restroom and bathroom. Now, we would never use the word restroom in British English. If we are in a public place and we are looking for a bathroom, we would say toilet. However, if there is a bath there, like a bathtub, then yes, we might say bathroom as well. But we would ask, where's the toilet?
So in India, I have to agree with Lucy, we say toilet if it's a public space. Like if I go to a mall, then I probably would ask where's the toilet. But if I go to someone like my friend's house, then I would ask for a bathroom, because I'm sure that they will have a bathing space like a bathtub. But restroom, no. We kind of use restrooms, especially in sometimes, you know, in schools and in colleges. If you're sick, you might have a space to, you know, take a nap and lay over. So that is basically a restroom. And we also use restrooms in airports, you know. Or we also use washroom, which is so common. Yes, a washroom is also common in India. So toilet, bathroom and washrooms are the popular ones. Next one.
This is an apartment.
This is mostly called an apartment.
But we would never say flat.
Okay, so in British English, this is a flat. We have a block of flats. I've lived in many flats in my life.
So in India, we usually call it as flat, and it's usually a very casual way. Specifically, like when we are speaking on conversations, we usually use flat. But like when doing advertisements and, you know, during those ads that you put up on flyers and etc., they usually write 3-bedroom apartment, not flat. Usually they don't write flat. So the written form is basically apartment, but usually when you say, you basically say casually flats in India. So the next one is...
The picture wasn't clear enough for this one because Emma did get a bit confused, but she gave us all of the options. Good old Emma.
This is a grocery store.
I'm not exactly sure what I'm looking at in that image, but it could be a trolley, it could be an aisle, or it could be a supermarket.
Hey, bingo, it's a supermarket for us as well. Or we call it the shops.
So in India, we call it as a supermarket too. So we usually buy groceries from the supermarket. We don't usually say grocery store, but we buy groceries from the supermarket. And also we say shops in general, but yeah, but I think we say supermarket all the time. That's how it's said in India. Let's move to the next one.
This is a comforter.
Oh my god, how weird is the word comforter? That's weird. In Australia, that's called a doona.
I love that Emma is saying that the word comforter is weird, and then she goes to say that in Australia it's a doona. That's weirder, Emma. So in British English, this is a duvet. A duvet.
So in India, we basically say this thing as a bedspread. But I have seen this duvet written on, you know, the labels, and in shops it's written as duvet, but we never say duvet, comforter or a doona, never. We usually say a bedspread. So bedspread is usually, I'm not sure whether it's the same as duvet, but we only use bedspread, I guess. Yeah, whatever it is, we say bedspread in India. So the next one
are bell peppers.
Okay, they're capsicums. Red, green, yellow capsicums.
No, they're just plain old peppers. Red peppers, green peppers, and yellow peppers.
So this is strange. Until now we were sticking on to British and American English, which is so similarly used in Indian English. But this one I have to go with the Australia. We say capsicum in India. And we say red capsicum, we say red capsicum, green, yellow capsicums. That is strange though, but we use capsicum in India. Let's move to the next one.
These are rain boots, and also the jacket that goes with it is a raincoat or a rain jacket. I guess in the US we like really clear, straightforward names for items like this. Rain boots. What's it for? It's for the rain. It's very clear. Boots for the rain.
I mean, she's not wrong, is she? American English is sometimes more simplified than British English, and this is no bad thing, really. Let's see what Emma has to say.
When it's muddy and rainy, I would put my gumboots on to walk around in the wet.
Yeah, I mean, we never say gumboots. I think I've heard my grandma say it, so it might be quite an old-fashioned thing. In British English, we say wellies or welly boots.
So in India, we usually say it as boots, just boots. But I've heard about gumboots too, but it was very old-fashioned, I guess. So no longer we use gumboots, but we say boots, just boots. But we've never heard about wellies. So that's strange. We follow the British English most of the time, but we don't say wellies. Okay, next one.
Let's hear from Vanessa first.
These are flip-flops.
Yeah, these are flip-flops, Emma. What do you call them?
When we go to the beach in Australia, we wear our thongs. Our thongs. It's plural, and we're talking about the shoes on our feet. They're our thongs.
So I have to explain to you what a thong is in British English and American English. A thong is like a G-string. It's a type of underwear where there is just one string at the back instead of more fabric.
So in India, we actually say this thing as a slipper. So slippers are the most commonly used word to describe this product, but we also use flip-flops. I mean, flip-flops are very common these days and most of them use flip-flops, but the older generation would definitely go with slippers. Next one in the line, in the queue.
This is a gas station where you put gas into your car.
So when I fill up my car, I fill it up at the petrol station.
Good. I'm with Emma again on this one. She's redeeming herself after the thong situation. Yes, we also call this a petrol station. The fuel that we put into our car is petrol. I spent much of my...
So in India, we call it as a petrol pump. Usually not petrol station, although you could see the signboards like petrol station, but most of the time we say it as a petrol pump, not a gas station. Gas station is so commonly I have heard through the Hollywood movies, and I was also surprised to hear about the gas station. I thought that the vehicles run on CNGs in America, but they actually use petrol for gas stations. So that's weird. But we say petrol pumps in India. The next one,
We call a shop that only sells alcohol. And this is interesting because in America, their attitude towards alcohol is slightly different. We're very open, maybe too open to alcohol in the UK and Australia, but alcohol is more controlled by the government and the states in the United States.
This is an ABC store, which I just learned because I just looked it up. It stands for Alcohol Beverage Controlled State. So this is a store that sells only alcohol. And that last word, state, is because it is run by the state or run by the government.
Now let's see what Emma calls it, because I have heard that Australians have some fun names for places like these.
When I go and get a bottle of wine, I go to the bottle shop, which in Australia we also call the bottle-o.
Bottle-o, love it. It would sound so stupid in a British accent. I'm just going to the bottle-o, do you need anything? Bottle-o. Yeah, it only works really when you pronounce your T's as D. Bottle-o. In British English, an off license.
So in India, as Lizzie said, just like in America, it's run by the state government. It's run by the government usually, so it's controlled in India as well. But we call these outlets as a beverage outlet. It's called beverage outlet. So you can ask, where is the beverage, or where the beverage outlet? So that's what we say in India. Just as simple as a beverage, you know. Next one.
Okay, what about this next one? I feel like I'm going to get ganged up on here.
These are pants.
Pants. Pants. Old people might call them trousers.
Well, excuse me, I must be very old then, because these are hands down trousers. They are trousers. We do use the word pants to refer to underpants.
Here I have to agree with all three of them, because in India, just as you say, the older generation would refer this as a pant, and that's strange. Usually it's called pants, like 80% of the population say it as pants, but when we have like a written format, or for example, maybe the uniforms of your school or the uniform of your workplace, usually they write it down. If it's like a written instruction, they write it down as a trouser. And also the younger generation use it as a trouser, like they use the word trouser to mention that. So it's kind of like a formal way of trousers being used, and also it is by the new generation, but generally it's called pants, like everybody calls it a pant. Moving to the next one.
This is a sidewalk.
The concrete beside the road where people walk in Australia is called a footpath.
Interesting. We don't say either of these. We say pavement. Pavement.
So in India it's called as a footpath, and we are aware about pavements too, but pavements are generally more classical. Again, I said we write it down when we write a novel or any stories. We write like the walking down the pavements, you know. It's more classical way, but we generally say footpath. Footpath is so common in India. Next one.
This is a highway, or you could call it an interstate.
A highway, or maybe a freeway in Australia.
Ooh, we don't say either of these either. We never say highway in British English. Interstate, well, we don't have states, so that doesn't work either. Freeway, no. Freeway sounds dangerous. It sounds like you can do whatever you want. You're just free to drive however you like. We call these motorways. Motorways.
So here I have to agree with the highway, because in India it's called as highway. No other way we do mention that. Highway and interstate highways, it's common in India, yes. Next one.
This guy is wearing a shirt that has a name that's maybe not so kind. We call this a wife beater.
That is terrible. And this word has actually bled into the British English vocabulary, although in general we would call this a vest. Or you could also call it a tank top or a tank, but that again is another Americanism. This for us really is a vest. And what about Emma?
That dashingly handsome guy is wearing a singlet.
Again, call it as a West, but we have a unique name for it. Most of the population, like around 90% of the population, do refer it as a banyan. So it's called a banyan in India. So that's for today's video. So I think we kind of like looked over certain things, how it is said differently in different English-speaking countries in a different way, but it all means the same thing, you know. It's used to refer the same thing but in a different way. How strange it is. So English is such a versatile language, it is such a widespread language, it's been said in different forms, different words in different countries. So kind of stick on to the words which is used in your country to basically to communicate within your country. But it's also good to know about how it's spoken in other parts of the world. So it really helps you if you kind of know the alternative way in which you could describe that thing which you wanted to mention. So thank you again to English with Lizzie, because her channel is amazing, and thank you for this video. I was able to give and make people understand, basically my subscribers, about how these things are said in different parts of the world and also how it is said in India. So till we meet next time, this is your Gokul signing off, and I'll be back with a new video